8:38. You're watching and listening to Breakfast with Stephen and Tamsin.
Good morning. Let's take a look at today's front pages for you. The Guardian leads with a story about a major upheaval in the view taken by the Church of England on same-sex marriage.
The Mail reports the Treasury is under pressure to cut taxes after AstraZeneca criticised how expensive it was to do business in the UK.
The Express says anger is growing because greedy banks are refusing to pass on higher interest rates to savers.
The Mirror has money-saving expert Martin Lewis, who says plans to raise the cap on energy bills would be a national act of harm.
Well, time to go through the papers now. Joining us this morning is Assistant Editor of the London Finance Journal, Andy MacDonald, and broadcaster Liz Kershaw. Good morning to you both.
Morning.
Right, what are we starting with, Liz? Ambulance response times in the Mail?
Well, I thought we could do with some good news, couldn't we?
Yes, we could.
And you have mentioned this morning, but ambulance response times have drastically improved after the NHS faced one of its worst ever winters. And we will all remember the pictures before and after Christmas of ambulances sometimes being outside attending to a patient for 12 hours or so because they couldn't get them into A&E.
Yeah.
It was so busy. So this is good news because it was terrifying. I was sitting on the sofa going, I hope I don't have a heart attack because, and I'm not making light of this, but I was genuinely worried that if anybody, including me, people I care about, to have a heart attack or stroke or anything like that. It was like an hour and a half waiting.
Yeah.
And I remember having to bundle my friend into my own car once when she fell and cracked her head on the kitchen floor. And they said, it's going to be an hour. You'll have to put her in your own car. That was terrifying to have that responsibility. Anyway, it just brings me to another point that ambulances were outside because A&E was rammed. Because A&E couldn't get people through because there were no beds on the wards. So my own personal example in the last 7 days of why this is happening. Somebody in my family rang the GP with a sore throat, seriously sore throat. Couldn't get an appointment, got a call from the GP, prescribed him some basic bog standard antibiotics, penicillin. 2 days later, couldn't swallow the pills, couldn't drink water, I'd had no food for 3 days. We rang again, ring 111, we rang them, ring the GP, rang that. Finally, he got, after it was stressed he was situation, he got called in. As soon as she saw him, he must go into hospital, straight to A&E, triaged in an hour, helped by a letter from the doctor, another 4 hours up to the ward. So not so bad. The main thing that I learnt from all this was when it came for him to leave, he sat by the bed from 9:30 in the morning when he was told he could go home until 6 o'clock when his drugs arrived from the pharmacy and he couldn't leave without them. And I was asking, why are these drugs taking so long? They do the rounds of the whole hospital, dropping them off. Sort it out, because presumably the reason he was sitting in A&E for 4 or 5 hours waiting for a bed was because somebody was sitting by a chair on a ward waiting for the drugs. And the nurses, I'm not blaming them, they were just going, well, that's the system. Well, can't we look at the system, think outside the box and think that doesn't work?
Why can't they write you a script and then you just go off to the hospital? Well, the local pharmacy or the hospital pharmacy.
We said, can we not go down ourselves and collect it? Oh, no, you can't do that.
Well, they have to have discharge notes as well. So it's
that was all done. That was all done. It was purely waiting for the drugs from the pharmacy. To me, that's so easily solved by good management.
Yeah, I agree. Let's have a look at savings rates. Should we? Interest rates are going up. What about our savings, Andy?
This is the front page of the Express. It's a bit of a nightmare, really. People are getting quite angry at the Bank of England because they're just refusing to kind of pass up on higher interest rates to savers, but they're putting up interest rates for borrowers. So it's a bit baffling. It's gone up 3.9% since December of 2021, and everyone's just getting a bit angry.
It's up to individual banks, aren't they? I mean, I have to say, I've got one savings account where they now pay 3%. which seems miraculous. It's just gone up again. There's letters in, we put it up again. But I've got another bank account where they pay absolutely nothing.
Yeah, Lloyds have been getting quite a lot of praise. I don't know whether your savings accounts, Lloyds, but Lloyds have apparently been doing a pretty good job, whereas other banks, so we're not going to name them for legal purposes, of course, haven't been doing quite as good a job, and people aren't very pleased. And it was posed to the Governor of the Bank of England in the scrutiny committee, I think it was either yesterday or the day before, and he was like, it's not really my job, which it is and it isn't. I'm sure if he said something, there would be great
encourage
influence.
saving, does it?
Well, there's meant to be a benefit. It's all we always say. Well, it's bad news for homeowners if you've got a mortgage. Good news for savers. Well, it's just bad news for mortgage people, isn't it? Generally.
Well, as that economist was saying earlier, inflation isn't being caused by demand-led inflation, overspending on, luxury goods. So presumably, if they wanted to take money out of the money supply circulating, it'd be a really good thing if the Bank of England and the Treasury encouraged banks to put up interest rates on savings, because then people would be more likely to stash it away.
Yeah.
If you have £20,000 as an example, I read in the paper the other day, and you put it in a savings account, that means you might get about £300 interest on it in 12 months. Well, what's inflation done to that by then?
Well, yeah, that's true. Should we lighten it up a bit?
I was just about to say, should we go to the or the other?
I was going to go. Well, yeah, go on.
Take that star. Howard Donald has so many cars, he has to store some of them at his friends' houses. No problem saving here.
Yeah, this is page 21 of the Daily Mirror, and it's a real contrast to talking about the inflation and being unable to pay the bills.
Yeah.
And he's got, I think he said he's got about 17.
Wow.
About 17. How
About
can you have
17.
about
Not
17?
quite sure.
He's not entirely sure,
counted.
and he's complaining to his wife that he just leaves them at his mates' garages, and then he's like, oh, where have they gone? And Mark Jeffries, the showbiz editor of the Mirror, wasn't amazingly sympathetic. But from the pictures that have been attached on this article, he does have quite a nice collection, in all fairness. But it's just completely out of reality, isn't it?
Well, it is, but he's a major pop star. I can't be too upset that he's got them. It's good on. He's worked for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just a bit sad that he forgets how many cars he has and where he's parked them.
Yeah, well, this is it.
I'm similar.
Well, you've got quite a few cars.
Not because they're all luxury vehicles, because I'd like to get my money's worth, and I can't part with anything. So when I get a new car, I find it hard to get rid of the last one.
You do.
If it's all paid for, and they're all lining up outside the house.
Yeah.
Will you be able to use it
Look,
when
it's
you Les
disgusting.
comes in?
Yeah. Sort it out.
That luxury cars. How many Jags have you? Anyway, let's have a look at what is the worst hot dog.
This is at a football ground in Sheffield, and have we got a photo of this offending
I don't know,
snack?
hopefully.
Anyway, it's £5.50, and if you go to a football match, look at the state of that. Is that? I'll ask you, Stephen. Is that a quality sausage?
No, that is not a quality sausage.
You need a quality sausage.
And where's the bit of salad or something?
It's Sheffield United, £5.50. The salad, there's no sauce, and it's a dried up bun. And I know that the hospitality industry has been struggling the last 3 years, but I had some soup.
You can afford a bit of clover.
I had some soup to take on the train the other day, and it was £4.95 for a tub of soup. And I just couldn't believe it. And if you had that every day, commuting, you could go on a luxury holiday for £1,200.
Yeah.
So that's the way I look at it. So,
I never understand these people, though, who work in towns and things and always you buy out and buy coffees and
sandwiches.
Take a flask.
Yeah.
I always used to take a flask in our old place, because they had to pay for coffees. Take a flask and sandwiches.
Yeah.
I mean, this Sheffield United, this sausage, whoever's bought it will have bought a flat carling for about £7 as well. So this will have put him back 12 or 13 quid. And it's just sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably hungry after watching the match.
Well, I don't know who Sheffield United's star player is, but I'm sure they aren't fed that kind of muck.
No, that is a disgrace.
We're going to be talking about healthy eating.
Healthy eating a little bit later on with Ben Cohen, no less.
Oh, he used to play rugby for Northampton.
Yeah, well, he's not coming in, Liz, so...
Oh, right. Well, I've met him loads of times.
Oh, there we go. Liz, Andy, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to see you.